Going live, going live. Just wait for the chat. Do, 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 do. Alright, I see me up here. Where are my people at? Maybe if I provide a link. I'm gonna send a link. That would help people to join. Are there people here? Hey, classic Luigi fan, what up? One of the firsties in. How is everyone doing today? Good? I hope you're doing all right. Probably not good. I don't think a lot of people are doing good right now, but hey, now we got some people. It helps when you link to the live stream and like let them know. Oh, my kitty's looking outside. You want to look out the window? Open the blinds for you. There you go. Silly kitty. It's a little bit blown out, but that's okay. What's new? It always looks like that. Just let my kitty look at the tree and the squirrels crawl around in the background. Hey guys, you're needing laughs? I'm in need of laughs. I think we're all in need of laughs. Not a good time. So let's lift our spirits. Alisonia Pringle Pregler is taking you on a journey. We're going to Modelland. Maybe sometime today we'll actually get to the Modelland portion of Modelland. Okay, so here's the portion where I try to remember everything that's happened so far in the first 100 pages. We've had a little bit more of a break than usual because I was getting a couple videos done before the end of the month. So let's see. My terrible memory will slowly Xerox copy this as we go along. So Tuki de la Creme, Tyra's self-insert 16-year-old self, or 15, I think. She is laying on the floor for school because no one looks at her. This is a world that revolves around fashion and models and button making and all sorts of weird. It's a dystopian Harry Potter Hunger Games world, and there's a guy that she likes, and he drops a button, and she chases it into a garbage can. That was kind of weird. She's got, like, a weird little friend who lives in a tree, like a Keebler elf. She's got, like, an abusive family, kind of like the Dursleys. And her dad was an acrobat, and he lost his eye. And they keep saying it's because the mom blinded him during a trick. With her mirror, but it's actually because he's just bowing and he bowed into his sword, and that was kind of weird. And then yeah, they all want to go to Modelland, and if you go to Modelland, like to get a chance to go there, you have to find a golden smize, much like a golden ticket via a la Willy Wonka. They find a golden smize, and they see a big talking head in the sky that talks about Modelland. It introduces the Intoxibellas, which are ladies, the models in Modelland, and they all got powers. Oh, and there's wise old Wingtip, who's a guy who carries some wingtip shoes and dispenses advice. I think I've kind of covered this. For people who are new to this, this is an insane book, but also there's some things that might be triggering to some people. There is some abuse and some self-harm. If I see it coming, I will try and let you know, but this is just a heads up. Yeah, it's a lot more violent than you would think. I have a super chat already from Trixie Narrator. Thanks so much for doing these, Allison. They always make my day better. Cat emoji. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that it's useful for some people when, you know, because the Jays chats have have stopped coming out regularly. The two J's from Top Model, Mr. J and Miss J, were doing they were dishing some tea on Instagram, talking about Cycle by Cycle. But something seems to have happened behind the scenes around Cycle 6, so we'll see. But if you want to get some behind the scenes insight into Top Model, those are good to check out. And also, I'm very excited that Mr. J is releasing his own Top Model inspired book, which was The Wig, the Bitch, and the Meltdown. That's what it's called. And it's a fictional, behind-the-scenes look of some guy, we'll call him May Januel, who who works behind the scenes of a top model type show called Model Muse. There's an evil Keisha Cash, who's definitely Tyra Banks. It sounds like it's going to be just delicious, and I'm so excited to get my hands on this book when it comes out. There's another super chat from Carly Rich, $20. Ooh, looks like Carly is rich. Thank you. Allison, you are awesome. You've given me hours of entertainment. Thank you. Since I'm new to your Patreon, here's a little something. Buy yourself something nice. Love you. Oh, thank you. That's very nice. Maybe I'll put that toward the Wig, the Bitch, and the Meltdown fund to buy that book. Just looking at people's chats. Yeah, Alpha J and Beta J. That's the two J's. So good. Yeah, the release of Jay's book has nothing to do with their NDAs expiring. Okay, let's get to this book. We have done the preamble long enough. 100 people are waiting with bated breath. What's going to happen in Modelland? We are on chapter 9. We're not quite 100 pages in. We're 3 pages away. Have not yet entered Modelland, but that's okay because it's 569 pages. Another super chat from Doggy Love. Is it Doggy Love? I feel so bad if it's not Doggy Love. So if there are 7 superpowered people added each year, are there just hundreds of superpowered women running around? What do they do? Oh, they're probably turned into cats. Oh, spoiler alert. I don't know. They probably get thrown into a volcano or killed or something. Who knows? Alright, chapter 9. Bzzz. And I'm gonna have to try and remember the voices I've given everyone. Thousands of girls stampeded to the square all at once. Heels clacked, dresses swished, hairdos wobbled, the T-Dod theme song boomed at a pulsating beat. This is where you guys need to look up the Modelland theme and play it now. So just Google Modelland theme song. You just want to make sure you get the atmosphere that Tyra's going for. By the way, this is them getting ready to walk to audition for Modelland, I guess, do their model walk. There was one rule and one rule only. A girl must be walking in order to be chosen. Other than that, there was no prearranged runway on which the girls could walk, so everyone created invisible ones wherever they were standing. Violence was not encouraged, nor was it condemned, and some girls' parents insisted on adding martial arts training to their walking lessons in preparation for the big day. T-Dod Square was an every man for himself, or more precisely, an every girl for herself event. Scores of girls marched down their own stretches of the square, posed for the cameras, real and imaginary, and then turned around. Trains of walking girls intersected with others. One area behind Tukey was so crammed with street vendors it bottlenecked into a slow, shuffling line. Some walkers had oddly enough space to take a few steps before they had to stop and turn. Tukey's heart went out to a young girl in a ruffled pink dress who seemed way below the official 13-year-old age requirement. She marched in place as if she were on a drill team. Rip! A girl stepped on the train of a walker a few feet from Tukey and tore the fabric right off the dress. Both girls fell forward into a heap. The walkers behind them stepped over their bodies and continued. Madness! Crash! The De La Creme white and cream blow-up tent went down as 2 brawling girls entered it. Oof! A girl who looked as if she had never walked in heels before stumbled, breaking the tips of both stilettos. 2 girls got into a fight at the end of their makeshift catwalk, rolling to the ground. Kenya, use the Gyaku Suki move, her mother screamed. Reverse punch the hairy hag. But watch your hair, sweetie. Oh my god. Tukey wheeled around. The hairy hag was Abigail Good, sideburns in full glory, faint mustache above her upper lip, unshaven leg hair coating her calves, underarm hair swaying in the wind, and a down with razors picket sign still in her hands. The girl she was fighting with tried out a karate move on her, but Abigail expertly evaded her blow. Tukey's jealousy meter skyrocketed. Even Abigail was competing? I have another super chat from the Somewhere Man. Watching from my new place in California. Thanks for being a reliable constant while my life is changing so much. Hail Groppler Allison. Thank you. I hope your move went smoothly. Good luck with that. She looked around some more. Actually, not only were eligible girls walking, but lots of other people were too. An elderly man on a power scooter shot a gap-toothed smile to the crowd as he steered his vehicle with his hands on his hips. Two down-on-their-luck women dressed in trash bag dresses and beat-up sweatsuits walked while pushing everything they owned in shopping carts, heckling every girl who passed. Honey, you wish you had it like I do. Get back, spring chickens. Age before beauty, ladies. Oh, man. These are like the two biddies on Glow. Tukey chuckled when she noticed that even some of the protesters ditched their run away, don't walk signs and sashayed energetically while chanting, Women, let's walk, smile for the cams, T-Dod, it rocks, crank the music, let's jam. Ho ho. I have another super chat from Cyborg Cable, and it's a little corgi emoji saying, my hero, thank you. You know, Salazar Art Nation, I wish that this came with a CD of the theme song. Alas, it seems to be a YouTube exclusive. But please, look it up and listen to it. You'll never hear anything like it again. Unless Tyra begins. It begins another one. Unless Tyra releases another one. A few drunken boys from outside the gates got into the action, strutting next to the girls in exaggerated long-legged lopes. One guy snaked an arm around a girl's waist, but she swatted him away. The photographers and cameramen scrambled to catch every movement, projecting various images onto the screen next to the stage. Thump, thump, thump. The music beat on. The largest screen showed the remaining time left for walking. 12 minutes, 20 seconds. Yeah, Tyra begins as her origin story. Words don't mean anything when you read Modelland. Go, Miracle, go! Mrs. De La Creme shouted. Miracle had staggered a few feet away from the fallen tent and was standing there at the melee, eyes bugged, frozen in place. Don't freeze up! Wake up, baby! You have to do this! Miracle is Tukey's sister. Yeah, Miracle, you can do this. Come on, Tukey urged, holding her sister by her arms and staring into her eyes, trying to spark a connection. Dance in your spirit, but not with your body, she repeated over and over. Then she turned Miracle around, placed Miracle's hands on her hips, and whispered in her ear, left, then right, then left, then right. She's too dumb to walk. She's too dumb to walk. What is this? Miracle suddenly broke out of her trance and began to follow Tukey's instructions. Tukey jumped out of the way to watch her sister. Halfway down her imaginary runway, Miracle began to wiggle her hips and shake her shoulders to the infectious music that swelled over the sounds of the crowd. Don't dance, Mrs. De La Creme bellowed, giving Miracle a pinch. If you sway one more time, you'll get way worse than a little pinch. And if you have to beat the last pas de bourrée out of you, I will. Now walk, walk, walk like an intoxibella. Miracle snapped back to focus. Her arms swung gently. She thrust her hips forward as she'd learned to do in hours upon hours of walking class. She reached the end of the catwalk and came face to face with Abigail Good. Both girls vied for the same spot to pose. Miracle stuck out her pointy elbows, bumped her hip, and shoved Abigail hard out of the space. Abigail teetered over her high shoes, hit her head on the footrest of the old man's motorized scooter, and passed out cold. The violence! She just murdered someone. Walking class. I'm gonna assume this is like a modeling walking class, which I think exists. There is a technique to it. But she does seem too dumb to know how normal walking is, so could go either way in Modelland. Almost immediately, a siren sounded and Tukey heard someone yell, "Girl down! Girl down!" Miracle posed for a long 3 seconds, then raised a shoulder and swirled back around. There was a "don't mess with me, girl, unless you want to get hurt" expression on her face as she strutted back toward Tukey and her family. "That's my miracle!" Mrs. De la Creme jumped up and down and clapped. "Claim what is ours, baby!" I know you, right? Tukey turned and nearly jumped out of her skin. Did I give Theophilus a kind of British voice? I feel like I gave him a different voice before. I know you, right? Tukey turned and nearly jumped out of her skin. Standing next to her was Theophilus Lovelaces. His eyes glistened in the Ladorno sun. He was seeing her, actually seeing her. His eyes focused right on hers. His words were meant for her. Tukey tried to smile, but she had a feeling her mouth made more of a grimace. "You're not participating?" Theophilus asked, gesturing to the crowd. It sounds more like the dad voice. What did I do for Theophilus? "You're not participating?" Theophilus asked, gesturing to the crowd. Tukey opened her mouth but couldn't speak. She was dying to say, "Really? Me? Have you lost your mind?" But instead, a cross between a yelp, a sneeze, and a burp came out. "Good for you," Theophilus indicated the candidates in the square. "This is a little crazy." They both turned to Zarpessa Zariano, who strutted confidently right over an open manhole that 3 girls had just fallen into. Her long, straight auburn hair streamed behind her. Her skin glistened in the sun. Now, who opened the sewer? It just left. They knew this was a strategy by some other girls to get rid of them, opening the sewer to sabotage them right in the middle where everyone is walking. That's insane. She wore a bright yellow dress that seemed electrified with matching yellow shoes. Tukey assumed it was the ensemble Lizzie had mentioned the other day, the one she and Zarpessa had fought over at the clothing dump. Loud motorcycle outside. "She makes even trash look beautiful," Tukey murmured. Theophilus glanced at her in surprise. "Oh, nothing." It pained her to say that her very first conversation with Theophilus was about Zarpessa. She considered telling Theophilus about Zarpessa's dumpster digging, but then she clamped her mouth shut. The poor shaming back. This is what happens. So Zarpessa is Theophilus's girlfriend, who's, all the names are stupid, and she's really popular and acts like she's all rich, but then it turns out she's secretly poor, because Tukey saw her dumpster diving, and that was something that was worth making fun of her and looking down on her for being poor. No matter how much she envied Zarpessa, exposing something that awful was just too mean. "What's your name anyway?" Theophilus asked, looking at Tukey again. Tukey gaped at him. He wanted to know her name? Her mouth tried to form the words. She felt Theophilus's "Touki" button in her hip pocket. Suddenly, a piercing voice rose above the din. "Theophilus!" Zarpessa's voice. "I'd better go." Theophilus tipped an imaginary hat to Tukey. Then he whirled around and marched toward his beloved. What voice did I give him? 7 minutes left, Mayor Rump bellowed. 7 minutes! A blinding neon yellow flash filled the sky. The clouds vanished, so the sun disappeared. Someone screamed. Everyone shaded their eyes or ducked their heads. Oh, even the walkers paused for a moment and squinted upward. Another whoosh boomed through the air. "The scouts!" a voice bellowed. "They're here!" "Scouts? Where?" Tookie stood on her tiptoes, her heart beating like mad. People stepped back from a nearby lamppost that had started to vibrate, staring at it with a mix of wonder and terror. The lamppost began to lengthen like a long, telescoping pole. Snap! It broke apart and reassembled as a slender, mysterious-looking woman in a black metallic jumpsuit. Her head glowed as if it contained a light bulb. Bing! A scout, Tookie whispered. She'd never seen one in person before. The scout's head began to blink, as if warning people that something amazing was about to happen. Then the woman marched to a thin girl with cheekbones so sharp they could slice a melon in half, and tapped her arm. The girl clutched her chest in disbelief. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. The scout took her hand, and the bright light of her cranium flashed like lightning, and then poof! They were gone, and the lamppost was back where it had always been. Oh my god, they're going to Hogwarts! As I spill stuff on myself. Oh, my baby! The girl's mother cried, running up to the lamppost, hugging it tightly and covering it with kisses. My baby, my baby, my baby! First draft pick! More gasps and screams rose in the crowd as the huge clock in the square ticked past the 6-minute mark. Suddenly, scouts from Modelland were everywhere! It's them poofing in. An asteroid rocketed to Earth! An asteroid! Throwing up chunks of marble all around the square and causing nearby runway walkers to flee in hysterics. Ah! It's like Armageddon! A stunning scout emerged from the rubble with skin that seemed to be made of rough stone. She wore a bathing suit ensemble that appeared to be made of rocks. She wore a bathing suit ensemble that appeared to be made of rocks. She tapped the tall, long-haired girl in a plain, dingy cotton dress. The dress wasn't nearly as fancy as most of the outfits the other girls were wearing, and its front was wet with tears. When the girl looked up and saw the scout, her jaw dropped. "Are you sure you have to pick me?" the girl whimpered incredulously. Are they like, they're like X-Men, like mutants? Oh, there's another super chat from Melena Kiss. Wait until you get to the next 2 chapters. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Things are starting to happen. Not that things weren't happening, but is Modelland finally gonna happen? Oh, thank you, Melena. Was it Melena? Did I get your name wrong? I want to make sure. Okay, Melena, yes. Oh, there's another super chat from David Mumford. My best friend and I have been decade-long fans of you and that Christmas Miracle Ash. We hope you get to Modelland soon. We're rooting for you. We're all rooting for you! Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, a decade. Such a long time. Okay. A pointy-chin competitor in a poofy-sleeve dress and studded boots pushed to the front. Pick me! She doesn't want it! The plainly dressed girl's mother tugged the scout's arm. No, my Desperata does want it. Desperata? Desperata! Please take her. I don't have the money to feed her anymore. The scout nodded and grabbed the sobbing girl's hand, and they both disappeared into a hole in the ground. Oh my god. Like a graboid. She's like a Geodude. She's made of rocks. Geodude. She's a Pokemon. Immediately, all the broken marble flew into the sky, reassembled, and then dropped right back exactly where it had been before the disruption. The clock edged past the 5 minutes left mark. The shopping cart of one of the homeless women flew from her hands and rolled wildly around the square. Girls near the cart ran away screaming. The cart flipped forward, and old food and tattered clothes spilled to the ground. A scout in a dress with rips in all the right places materialized from beneath the decrepit belongings. She strutted to the middle of the square and stopped in front of a raven-haired girl who was wearing a dress with an enormous bustle. The girl's mother, who was clad in a muumuu, held out her own arm. You want me? With a slight, tired, oh, how the old ones always do this roll of her eyes, the scout touched the daughter's shoulders instead. Oh, the mother squealed. Well, of course, of course. She enveloped her daughter in her arms. and cooed how proud she was of her, and then let go. But as the scout and the daughter descended into the worn clothes and rotten food within the cart, there was the tiniest look of disappointment on the mother's face. Another super chat from Samir Sela. Oh, thank you. You've sent several of these. This book has everything. The rapture, abuse, and Tuki in her deformed eyes. Not just freakishly colored eyes. Thank you again, Samir. 3 minutes, 50 seconds, Mayor Rump announced from his VIP perch. Miracle strutted on, posing and turning. Mrs. de la Creme bit her nails. Mr. de la Creme paced back and forth. Eruptions occurred all over the square. The reporters swiveled their cameras and microphones, trying to keep up with the mayhem. Walkers to the left, right, front, and back bumped into Miracle. She walked 2 steps, posed, turned, and walked again. Even Zarpessa was losing space, walking in a tight circle near the strange obelisks. I have another super chat from Carrie Kentfield. This is so wonderfully weird. I love it. Rock Bicky by Fred Flintstone? I don't know. Are you... is that a song? Rock Bicky by Fred Flintstone? I'm not sure what that means, but thank you. Tuki, climb up here so your sister has... Oh, sorry, this is the Mr. De La Creme voice. Tuki, climb up here so your sister has more room to walk, Mr. De La Creme commanded behind her. Tuki turned and saw her parents and Brian standing on the roof of the wildest car she'd ever seen, a blinged out golden lowrider with a pavé roof and hubcaps that spun in place. Even when the car wasn't moving, the gaudy and glam automobile was parked on a piece of marble that had a huge crack down the middle that looked strangely like a question mark. Tuki dutifully climbed onto the shiny bumper. Mrs. de la Creme anxiously compared the time on her watch to the time on the huge clock in the center of the square. Worry marred her wrinkled face. "We still have time," she murmured. "A miracle will happen for the miracle. I just know it." More flashes filled the sky. More scouts appeared. The candidates walked hungrily. Dozens of fights broke out, and at least 6 girls lay on the marble ground nursing their wounds. This is a very violent book. As Tuki made her way up the trunk of the car, a strange vibrating sensation tickled her feet. Bzzz. What was that? 1 minute left, Mayor Rump called. Hundreds of people began to count down. 59, 58. Bzzz, bzzz. Tuki looked down and gasped. A strip of the diamond-encrusted roof of the car had transformed into a thick layer of brilliant fabric. As she watched, even more of the roof disappeared and reappeared as cloth. The fabric looked as if it were being spontaneously woven by a giant loom. "Whoa," she whispered. Mrs. de la Creme noticed the fabric too. She kneeled down to within an inch of the strange material and then bounced back up. "It's a scout!" She jumped off the roof. "Miracle, it's a scout!" Brian was right behind her. He shook Miracle by the shoulders. "It's a scout, doofus!" "Where?" Miracle halted mid-pose. "On the roof of the car!" Miracle pushed past girls in her way and scuttled over to the vehicle. Thousands of crowd members were now counting down the seconds. 45, 44. Another row of fabric emerged. Then another, then another. Miracle shrieked, "A scout, Creamy, a scout!" Yeah, their mom's named Creamy. That's something. Who do you think Tyra would cast as herself in a movie adaptation? Her? Tyra would play Tyra. Duh. She could play her at any age, and she did in the Modelland video, the model video they did on Top Model. They reenacted pieces of this book. Mrs. de la Creme grabbed Miracle from the square and pulled her toward the car. "Everything we strived for, it's all coming true, baby." 39, 38. Tons of girls ran for the gaudy car, clamoring for the attention of the soon-to-appear scout. Tuki surveyed the crowd, noticing how many people were watching the de la Creme family on the roof. Jealous girls, rabid mothers, even Theophilus was in the back of the crowd, looking amused. But strangely, he wasn't staring at Miracle, as most of the mob was. His eyes were locked on Tukey. Her stomach flipped over.
Tukey!
Mrs. De la Creme grabbed Tukey's ankle.
Get down from the hood! Miracle needs her space! This is her moment!
Tukey stared at the ground. The area around the cars teemed with so many girls now, she was kind of trapped. Furthermore, Miracle wasn't able to climb atop the roof to greet the scout properly. This is Miracle's moment, Tukey thought. She had to help her. Come on, Miracle, Tukey called. She reached out her hand for Miracle to grab. It took all of Tukey's strength to pull Miracle and her 20-pound dress onto the hood. Once she was up, Miracle pushed Tukey out of the way, nearly knocking her to the ground. Things are getting intense. I'm here, Miracle cried. She stood in the center of the hood, hands in the air, her chin thrust high. Ta-ta!
Tukey, for the love of God, get off the roof! Mrs. De la Creme screeched. Give Miracle room!
But Tukey didn't want to move. She wanted to see this happen to Miracle firsthand. The roof had finished its diamond-to-fabric transformation. Diamond-to-fabric. The roof had finished its diamond-to-fabric transformation. There was a slight pause, and Tukey felt the world around her go silent. And then the whole roof began to tremble. Suddenly, the fabric split violently in the very center, knocking Miracle off of the roof. She fell to the ground almost as if in slow motion. No! Mrs. De la Creme wailed. Tukey's father pushed Brian out of the way to catch his daughter. Tears of tulle billowed into his face. Miracle's legs kicked into the air.
Get back up here, Miracle!
Oh, sorry, that's the Mr. De la Creme. Get back up here, Miracle! Mr. De la Creme screamed, shoving a shoe back onto Miracle's bare foot. He pushed her up on the hood. 15, 14, 13. The tear in the fabric grew wider until a human-sized hole appeared. And then a nearly naked woman emerged from the center of the car and rose into the sky. She had long limbs and golden skin and wore shiny necklaces strategically placed over her chest and lower half. A gem-encrusted veil covered her face. I'm just imagining King Homer, you know, that on The Simpsons, he imagines himself all golden with all these jewels. That's what I'm picturing in my head. King Homer is the scout. Tukey gasped. The scout's hair blew in its own wind. She's breaking wind. I'm 5 years old. The scout's hair blew in its own wind. Her arms stretched wide. Her fingers gripped the very ends of the piece of fabric that had materialized on the roof of the car. It seemed as though the fabric had grown from her fingers, an extension of her body itself. Wow. Oh, so this is Miracle. Wow, Miracle whispered. Tukey couldn't agree more. Fireworks began to explode in the air, the sparkles showing the numbers as they counted down. 6, 5, 4. The scout looked at the De la Cremes and nodded majestically, looking both strong and feminine at the same time.
Please take her,
Mrs. De la Creme gushed. We would be honored, Mr. De la Creme cried. 3, 2... And then the scout reached out her long, slender, radiantly decorated hand and beckoned to Tukey. Who saw this coming? I didn't know Tukey was gonna get summoned to Modelland. Oh my god. And still, not at Modelland. So that was the end of chapter 9. We will begin chapter 10. No way! What a twist! I know! Okay, chapter 10. Boo Big Teak Nation. The entire De la Creme family stood dumbfounded. Tukey stared at the scout's outstretched hand. Was this some kind of cruel joke? Who would love someone with freaky two different colored eyes? Oh my god! All sorts of possibilities flashed through Tukey's mind. Blood pulsed hard from her heart to her head. She glanced at the question mark-shaped crack in the ground. It seemed very appropriate at this moment. The scout's hand reached closer. Mrs. De la Creme scuttled onto the car's hood with the nimbleness of a mountain goat.
Oh, no, 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 no. My most honorable scout, she spouted. This is not the girl you came for. She pushed Tukey aside. You want my miracle.
A sparkling slip of paper appeared in the scout's hand. Studying it, she first eyed Miracle. Oh, so she's got to check the list. Like, did I make a mistake? I don't know. She made a list. She's checking it twice. She first eyed Miracle, arching her body toward the girls so that mere millimeters separated their faces. Then, in a flash, the scout turned to look at Tukey. She returned to Miracle, triggering a hopeful smile on Mrs. de la Creme's quivering lips. Then she scrutinized the paper in her hand again. Another super chat from Robert Scruggs. Scouts, all your base are belong to us. But seriously, love the readings. Thank you. Oh, sorry, it's Miracle again. I'm gonna get these voices wrong a lot. What's taking you so long? Miracle blurted out. You want me. I'm the Miracle. I'm wearing the smize. I'm on that list, right? Miracle reached for the list in the scout's hand. Whap! The scout jerked back so quickly that one of her necklaces swatted Miracle's hand away. Miracle let out a sharp squeak. Ew, Creamy! She smacked me with... It's just turning into Eddie. Ew, Creamy! She smacked me with her thing! Mrs. de la Creme squared her shoulders. Oh no, you did not just whack my Miracle. I may not know what the hell you are, but I do know if you have lost your diamond-encrusted mind. The scout's body tensed, and in the blink of an eye, Mrs. de la Creme changed her tune. But I mean, lovely bejeweled goddess, you do indeed know best. You can whack, slip, smack, clobber, knock out, even give my Miracle a black eye. Do as you wish. Just choose her. Miracle pointed accusingly at Tukey. She's the one you should be smacking. She doesn't even care about Modelland. Yes, I do, Tukey said softly. Not that any of you have ever asked. But her words were drowned out by the howls of the crowd and the blares of car horns and the ear-splitting bong of the giant clock in the middle of the Ladorno Square as it marked the official end to the Day of Discovery. The scout consulted a glittery piece of jewelry on her wrist that resembled the top half of a crystal snow globe. It changed color slightly with every second that passed. Then she extended both hands to Tukey, waving them impatiently. Oh, okay, Tukey said uncertainly. It felt like she was in a dream as she reached for the scout, but just before they touched, two strong hands shoved her from the side. She tumbled off the car, falling straight into Mr. de la Creme's arms. He quickly pushed Tukey back up on the roof. Creamy, what are you trying to do? Kill the girl? They want one of our daughters. Isn't that good enough? If she wants Tukey, let her take Tukey. Mrs. de la Creme glowered at him. Oh, so now the circus freak is your daughter? Oh, they had the big reveal that she was not genetically, biologically his daughter, of course. So, big moment. Mr. de la Creme looked up at Tukey. Tukey, don't listen to her. You know I love you, right? Always have, always will. Your daddy's special baby girl. Tukey's chest burned. Daddy? Special? Love? She had a strong feeling he didn't mean it, but she couldn't help letting his warm words affect her anyway. Just go, Mr. de la Creme told Tukey. For all of us. As if it had been waiting to be released her entire life, a single tear dropped from Tukey's eye. A single tear. Did he want her to go because he just wanted to be rid of her? Was he truly proud of her and thought she really deserved this? Or was he now willing to be her daddy because she was the scout's choice? Don't say to be someone's daddy. Or was he now willing to be her daddy because she was the scout's choice? Suddenly, something in the crowd caught her attention. There, one of the huge screens was her face, her six head, her multiple personality disorder hair, her mismatched eyes. This image was projected all over Metopia, all over the world. Hundreds of bewildered spectators in Ladorno Square stared at the screen. Thousands of hopeful girls wailed to their mothers. Why does she get to go? She's crazy looking. Millions of people all over the world saw Tukey's image right now and thought, what the... Can we just move on? I love the people in the chat getting so impatient. This is taking for fucking ever. I mean, that review is true. It's like, it's all funny until you realize how long it is. You realize we have 450 pages left still. We're 112 pages in. Still going on forever. Another super chat from Voldegast. I think you've sent super chats before. Thank you. Can you believe they made a best of the 2010s list and not a single Neil Breen movie was on it? Oh, he was robbed. You guys will be excited to know, big scoop, the next movie nights that's coming out is another Neil Breen movie. So there you go. First time scoop for all you Intoxabellas in Modelland. Let's continue with this. How could Tuki be chosen? She's so freaky. She's so weird. This is all like it's worse because you know this is based off of Tyra Banks' 16-year-old self, so she's just supposed to look like Tyra Banks. And we know this is true because she says it on Top Model, so it's not like this is like just inferred. This is what she says this is, so she admits that it's a self-insert of herself and, oh, I'm so freaky. How could I be a model? Where's Ash? That's a good question. I don't know. I think she wandered off to eat or something. She'll probably come wandering in. All right. Trembling, Tuki remembered the words Wingtip had whispered to her outside the Esplanade the day before. Oh, good old Wingtip. Dream big, even... Oh, no, I know what voice I gave him. Dream big, even you. Perhaps this was what he meant. This was the biggest dream any girl could have, especially a Forget-A-Girl. Tuki swallowed hard, and her trembling hand finally met the scout's bejeweled one. A flash of golden yellow surrounded them. A strong, sucking sensation pulled at Tuki's feet, then her legs, and then her stomach and back. Her body trembled into a brilliant, sheer fabric that spewed from the scout's fingers. More fabric surrounded her, enveloping her bottom and legs, and the force of a billion hands lifted her up and buoyed her into the air. Suddenly, Tuki was in some kind of translucent mesh pouch. What is going on? Alice is going down the rabbit hole. I have another super chat from Nobody700. Your videos are awesome. Oh no, the thing went away. Sorry. Your videos are awesome. This book drains my soul. Oh, thank you. Oh, and another super chat from Esteban138 for $20. Oh, wow, thank you. You are amazing emoji. Amazing emoji. With a little dancing, I'm not sure what, a little blobby. It's Mr. Blobby. Thank you. Someone just puts in all caps, birth imagery. I'm just gonna check the chat real quick. I just want to see what y'all are saying. I wish I could read both. Wingtip the Wise strikes again. Yeah, pretty good. Excellent. Okay. I have a thing on my mouth, sorry. Okay. She looked down through the gossamer fabric. Ladorno Square swung beneath her. Miracle fell to her knees on the car's hood, letting out a scream so piercing Mr. de la Creme covered his ears. Mrs. de la Creme's brow was dripping with sweat. She gripped her head, and the veins in her hands looked as if they were about to burst. She raised her hand in the air like it was a pistol, aiming for the scout.
You think you're flying high and mighty, but I will whack, slip, smack, clobber, knock out, and give your bedazzled ass a black eye!
Oh my god. It was too painful to watch them anymore. Tuki shifted her gaze ahead. The scout floated in front of her, her arms stretched out behind her in a V, the fabric of the pouch protruding from the tips of her shimmering fingers. The grand buildings around Ladorno Square moved swiftly past. As Tuki sailed up and up, people looked dumbstruck, as if they were wondering why on earth such an odd-looking girl was in a scout's pouch. Is this just how they always do it? They put them in pouches and then take them away? I don't know, guys. Maybe there's like other things in life more important than Modelland. Like, I'm just gonna. Like. Maybe there's just more things in life than this. Tyra Banks. I don't know what. There are pouches. Tons of parties were taking place in a 5th floor window. Tukey saw. So there's. Oh, it's just her going past the buildings. Okay, I was a little confused. Tons of parties were taking place in a 5th floor window. Tukey saw silver-haired men in shiny silver suits and young women in the finest gowns, all holding bright, bubbly concoctions in their hands. The silver-haired guys in silver suits. That's gotta be Beta J. He's got like his like future outfit and the robot stuff in Top Model. Higher up, she waved to a group of grinning children with cake-smeared faces. One cherub-faced girl was pressed so hard against the glass that Tukey worried she might push through some unseen crack and plunge to her untimely death. There's another super chat from Matthew Hennessy. There's another $20. Oh, thank you. I don't see a message there, so if you just want to post it afterwards, if you have something you would like me to read, just post it there. I'll be on the lookout. Someone remind me if I don't read it. I don't want to miss it. This is a dream, Tukey kept repeating to herself. I've dozed off during the ceremony. I'm going to wake up and miracle will have been chosen. She squeezed her eyes tight and then popped them open, but she was still in the strange pouch. The streets of Ladorno spread out in a grid beneath her. On the streets of Ladorno! Not surprisingly, every other part of Ladorno was virtually unpopulated at this particular hour. Nearly all of its residents crowded around the square for T-Dot. Oh my god, just get to Modelland. It was strange to see no pedestrians, no buses trundling past, no cars waiting at the stoplights. But then Tukey noticed a red flash, a figure darting down the dark alleyway. Tukey pressed her face hard against the translucent fabric. The figure ran crookedly down the alley, arms spread wide. I'm just imagining her face like, you know, when, like, Freddy Krueger, like, in Nightmare on Elm Street, they have his, like, the face in the fabric that looks like it's supposed to be the wall, and then he, like, presses his face into it. You just see the face. That's what I'm imagining in my head. The figure ran crookedly down the alley, arms spread wide. Then the person abruptly stopped and looked straight at the pouch. Lizzie! Tukey's jaw dropped. We have to stop, she yelled to the scout, but the scout kept flying. Tukey grabbed a handful of the pouch's fabric and pulled with all her might, trying to tear a hole in the side. A horrible thought struck her. What if Lizzie saw my face on those humongous screens? What if Lizzie saw me willingly take the scout's hand? What if she thought I skipped out of Exodus because I wanted Modelland more? I didn't know about this, Lizzie, I swear, Tukey screamed. But Tukey and the scout were too high in the sky for Lizzie to hear her. Lizzie's tiny body jerked to the side in a big twitch. After a moment, she lowered her head and began to run once more, the shadows swallowing up her crimson head. Soon she was nothing but a small dot. Lizzie, Tukey whispered, overcome with shame and guilt. She stood and curtsied, saying farewell to her one and only friend. Stood and curtsied. They moved fast through Ladorno, traversing the resort quarter, the luxury district, the Platinum Row. As they neared the base of the mountain to Modelland, the scout slowed in front of the obscure obelisks and stopped so abruptly that Tukey tumbled backward. Then the scout took a sharp turn and headed straight down. Do we need to... Oh my... How many pages till they seem to go to Modelland? Oh my god. I'm seeing 12 pages later. She's just emerging from the pouch. What in the fucking world? Tyra. Tyra Banks. I know you're watching. Brevity. Some brevity here. Just wrap it up at some point. Yeah, the real Modelland's the trip there. The real Modelland's the friends we met along the way. Tukey scrambled to the front of the pouch. The ground was approaching fast. A rush of air pushed against her body, the G-forces distorting her face and making her cheeks flutter. A horrible wail rang through Tukey's ears, and after a split second, she realized it was her own terrified scream. Ah! That's what she sounds like. We're really going to crash, she thought hysterically. She squeezed her eyes tight and braced herself for impact. But instead of hitting the sidewalk, they merged into it, disappearing beneath the streets. Tukey rolled to the back of the pouch, legs overhead. When she opened her eyes, they were in a narrow, dimpled tunnel with pale green walls. She looked at Tukey. It looked to Tukey like the inside of a plant stem. The air smelled like it did before a thunderstorm. A loud womp 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 vibrated in her ears. Womp 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 womp. That's what I'm imagining it sounds like a fan. Womp 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 womp. Tukey and the scout shot forward even faster, the pouch bouncing up and down. Oh my god. Just a few seconds later, the fabric darkened, looking black and shiny. Muffled music filled the air, growing louder and louder until Tukey recognized it as the T-Dod theme song set to banjos. What are you doing? We're halfway there? No, we are certainly not even halfway into this book. Oh, good god. I just want to get to Modelland. A green-tinged fluorescent light appeared at the end of the tunnel. It grew brighter and brighter, and soon Tukey found herself face-to-face with cash registers, credit card machines, Modelland magazines, and hundreds of checkout lines. In front of her, the scout's paper-flat, gem-studded, and now shiny black patent leather-clad body rolled out of an enormous... What? What? I don't know what I'm reading. In front of her, the scout's paper-flat, gem-studded, and now shiny black patent leather-clad body rolled out of an enormous black rubber mechanism. I don't even know visually how to visualize this in my mind. What exactly she's describing here? Does anyone know an enormous black rubber mechanism? What? Yeah, my immortal, like, Raven Dementia Way, or what, I'm never gonna say that, remember that full name, but... All at once, Tukey understood. The scout had just unrolled from a conveyor belt. Oh. Thanks, now I get it. They must be in some kind of store. Then she looked around. Good god. Another super chat from Melena Kiss. Let me explain. The world is like if the whole city was a Walmart. Yeah, alright. 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 I don't remember Walmart smelling like a rainstorm. I don't think they smell that nice. Ebony Darkness Dementia Ravenway. There we go. That's the whole name. They're on a giant conveyor belt. Oh my god. Oh, sorry. Oh my god. Tukey gasped aloud. I'm in Boo Big Teak Nation walking... It's another voice. Boo Big Teak Nation walking ladies. A chipper-voiced man boomed over the PA. It looks like we've got a zirconia-encrusted Modelland scout on the loose. Thousands of girls screamed with excitement. Voices bubbled through the air. Where is she? A girl screamed. I think I see her in aisle 453 near the purple light bulb section. No, she's in the auto parts aisle. Tukey looked through the pouch, taking in Boo Big Teak Nation for the first time. She'd read all about this place. It was the most convenient of convenience stores, for everyone lived inside the giant store. Small houses peppered the perimeter as far as Tukey could see, and a wide upper-level balcony filled with larger houses encircled the entire place. To her left was a large section of motorhomes for sale. A bored salesman sat under a sign that read, Ready to take your family on a Boo Big Teak vacation tour? Explore the other side of the nation in style. The rest of the square footage contained mile upon mile of merchandise, but no one was shopping. Everywhere Tukey looked, girls were walking. Tyra Banks, let me remind you, Tyra Banks wanted this to be a movie? She wanted this to be a movie. So they're taking a little detour into Walmart. 116 pages. We are not yet at Modelland. Can you imagine them making this into a movie? Can you imagine seeing this on screen? I would be first in line, but can you imagine it ever happening? I don't think so. Maybe, like, I could see it being like an early 2000s Flash animation. Like, maybe it looks like those, Esurance commercials. I could see maybe that happening. They were in a different part of the country, in a different time zone. It's still T-Dot here, Tuki thought. So they're just taking, like, a detour to get other girls? Like, come on. Scores of girls sashayed through the aisle. We're just moving from one T-Dot to another. Good God. Scores of girls sashayed through the aisles, shoving each other and screeching whenever they crossed paths. Every girl wore a single color from head to toe. A curly-haired strawberry blonde with a gap between her teeth was dressed in all mint green. A bronze-skinned girl wore metallic gold from her headband to her false eyelashes to her shoelaces. Tuki's scout was the only one doing any shopping at the Boo Big Teak. Her head darted left and right. Then the scout homed in on a girl about an eighth of a mile away. It was weird. Whatever the scout saw and heard, Tuki could see it and hear too. What? They're like psychically connected while she's hanging out in her little pouch? They're like, they're fashion Krampuses, right? They're just coming and stealing children and putting them in their big sack, and then they're going to be taken to hell. The twist is going to be like The Island or Parts the Clonus horror, right? Like, there is no actual, like, they're not going on a vacation. They're just going to get their parts harvested. There's no utopia on the other side. It was weird. Whatever the scout saw and heard, Tuki could see and hear too. Like the tiny ticks on the Tick Farm display way down aisle 135, and the tapping of a girl's foot at a messy counter marked the nation's customer service, which was clear across the store. The girl stood behind the counter. Her name tag said Dylan. Dylan was shaped like a bottle of Big Boutique Cola and had a heart-shaped face. Dylan was shaped like a bottle of Boo Big Teak Cola and had a heart-shaped face. Remember when Virgin Cola, they had a soda and they had a bottle that was called the Pammy, like her curves? Like Pamela Anderson? Yeah. Tick Farm. Yep. What's a Dylan? Her lips were full and naturally raspberry colored, and her lavender blue eyes sparkled. Can we stop introducing all of these original characters? Do not steal. I'm running out of voices. God. There's another super chat from Robert Scruggs. Ultimate Warriors Terrain of Testament, Tyra's Modelland. This needs a screen adaptation. Oh my god. Yeah, it is sort of Ultimate Warrior-esque, isn't it? Thank you. Her thick, healthy, golden blonde hair stretched to her butt, and she wore it in 2 ponytails, one on each side of her head. That would be pigtails. Her monochromatic outfit was the exact hue of her lavender blue eyes. An apron with strips of blinking lights displayed Boo in bold across her chest, big in block letters down her right thigh, and Teak in script across her buttocks. Why do we need to know all of this? A little girl ran up to Dylan. Dill, why can't I walk? Little girl. Well, what would be a little girl voice?
Dill, why can't I walk? I've been practicing my strutty strut.
She swirled around Dylan. What voice should I give Dill? Dee-Dee, you know you can't walk today, baby cakes. You're only 5 years old. Plus, Mama would go crazy on me if she saw you anywhere near that loony bin farm of desperate chicks. The little girl pouted. I know Dylan's supposed to be a girl. She's just got a deep voice. That's what I'm going for. I'll probably forget this later if she continues to be a thing. That's fine. The little girl pouted. Can I walk with you then, right here? She won't know. Yeah, it's a teenage Mitch voice. There we go. Dylan smiled good-naturedly at her little sister. Okay, baby cakes, stand on my feet. As if on cue, a crash sounded down the aisle. You stole my walking style! A girl in an ivory outfit screamed at the strawberry blonde, lurching for her and knocking over a display of motor oil. Gallons of slick ooze were now creeping across the tile floor. Some sort of noise outside. Strawberries and cream are mixing it up in a blender on aisle number 97, cackled a voice over the loudspeaker. I wonder what that juicy smoothie is gonna taste like. Oh my god, who cares? Tyra! I'm getting mad, y'all. I'm getting mad. Like, please just fucking move on. Just move on in this book. A female Boo-Big Teak security guard bicycled down to break up the brawl and to keep the flow of walkers moving. Strawberry promptly punched the security guard in the eye, and a new brawl ensued. The speakers crackled again. Girls and ladies, chicks and dames, the strawberry on aisle 197 is one sexy knockout. We need assistance. Can someone please back that thing up and get over here now? Dylan sighed and whispered something in her sister's ear, then marched toward the altercation. Swinging her hips to dodge frantic walkers and lifting her arms to squeeze between displays, Dylan looked graceful and very sexy even as she slid to the oil spill. Come on, ladies, Dylan shouted at Strawberry, who was swinging punches at anyone nearby. 6 instigating girls continued to prance and strut around the ruckus. Please, Allison, keep reading. I need to know the next unimportant and pointless sentence. They're so fuck. Okay. Come on, ladies, Dylan shouted at Strawberry, who was swinging punches at anyone nearby. 6 instigating girls continued to prance and strut about around the ruckus. Dylan's mere presence seemed to calm Strawberry. Dylan put her hands on her hips, cleared her throat, and spoke like a referee. Okay, so since the day you were born here in the Boo-Big Teak Hospital, nursed on wombat milk, you've dreamed of going to Modelland, am I correct? The girls nodded. And has Modelland magazine ever mentioned that it prefers girls with high hopes of being the next welterweight champion of the BBT nation? Dylan asked. Look, it's nothing's meaning anything anymore. Like, it's just like my mind is just blanking on anything. Wombat milk. It has nothing to, it's not like that's like satire or anything. Wombat milk, like, it's just weird. Like, there's no reason for any of this. I don't know why wombat milk. I wish I knew. The girls shook their heads. Then let's get back to fulfilling your dreams, ladies. Y'all are all busted looking now from your championship fight. But pull your confidence from your insides. That's gotta count for something. And then under her breath she muttered, "'Cause woo child, all you look crazy." Am I gonna get in trouble for, like, reading? Woo child. This is how she writes it, okay? This is not me taking liberties with this. This is how she wrote the dialogue, okay? Did I miss 2 super chats? I'm so sorry. Let me scroll. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll read them. Thank you for letting me know. One from Kevin Lechuga. Messy book, but thank you for the fun lives, Allison. Oh, thank you. Another from Riff Chick. This brightens my day. Please care for your voice after. Oh, thank you. I will. Let's put one foot in front of the other, Dylan continued. Swing them hips. Not too much. Don't slip in the oil. There you go. The girls formed a line. It's like, it's a very motherly Mitch, you know, like, oh, child, you look crazy. The girls formed a line behind Dylan like an army following its captain. Now repeat after me, Dylan said. If I don't get to choose Modelland's fam, they can kiss my butt. I won't give a damn. Swoosh, swoosh, Tookie felt a tug, and suddenly the scout made a beeline for Dylan's marching lineup. All the girls saw her at once. It's happening! Pick me! Pick me! But the scout swept past all of them and stopped at Dylan. Oh my god, could it be the one girl they've been focusing on for like 10,000 years? But the scout swept past all of them and stopped at Dylan. Dylan froze in her tracks, looking confused. The scout extended her neck, pushing her face within a millimeter of Dylan's, just as she had done with Miracle and Tukey. Satisfied, the scout stepped back and reached toward Dylan. Dylan stared at the scout in a bug-eyed trance. "You're..." She looked behind her. "Here." She eyeballed an immense crowd forming silently around her and the scout. "For me?"
"They're taking Dylan!"
a distant voice announced. A rolling wave of murmurs headed Dylan's way and grew louder. Dylan's mouth dropped open. A look of understanding washed across her face. "But what about my brothers and sisters?" Dylan gestured to a tiny house near the dental and feminine hygiene aisles. "I got 4 of each. I look after them." Suddenly, a woman who looked just like Dylan, only about 20 years older, pushed through the spectators and hugged Dylan's shoulders. There were proud tears in her eyes. "Don't worry, baby. This is your time." Wait, so her mom was around all this whole time, and then it's just like, "Oh, I gotta take care of him," and they're like, "Oh, just kidding." This book is more entertaining imagining every character is some form of Mitch. Look, this is when the limited repertoire really starts coming into play, guys. With 10,000 people. I'm gonna be honest here. I don't have enough voices in me to do this many. A lot of them are gonna turn into Baywatching characters. If you want a racist portrayal, the next character should satisfy. Grace. Oh no, is there gonna be another? Oh no. Oh no, I'm worried. Seriously, Mama? I'm going to Modelland? Me? Dylan ran her hands over her generous hips, then shrugged. Maybe a little, or should I say a lot, of some of Big Boutique Booty is just what Miss Modelland needs. The scout nodded, and the whole of the Big Boutique erupted into cheers and applause. And then Dylan fainted, crumpling to the ground. Everyone gasped. "Don't worry!" Dylan's mother moved her arms frantically. "She does that when she's excited or scared or in shock." The scout reached down and lifted Dylan in her arms. Blue, green, and red fireworks exploded above them inside the store. The music pumped louder. Then the golden light that Tukey had seen in Ladorno appeared again. Suddenly, a foot rammed into Tukey's waist. Dylan was in the pouch next to her, just like that. Oh, no. The blonde jumped when she saw Tukey. "Hey, girl, I'm Dylan. Whoa, I never seen eyes like that before. Interesting. Who are you?" Oh my god, the eyes. Enough with the eyes. Tukey flinched. She wasn't used to people paying attention to her. Enough with the not paying attention to... It's just keep repeating the same things. I'm stuck in a hell world. It's a Groundhog's Day. Tukey flinched. She wasn't used to people paying attention to her. I was so stuck on the Dylan voice. I'm Tukey," she fumbled. She tried to smile. The pouch lurched to the left, and the scout lifted off. Both girls tumbled about as they shot up through the roof of Boo Big Teak Nation. The last thing Tukey heard was a crackle over the loudspeaker. "All right, little losers," the announcer resumed. Tissues for your boo-hoos and bandages for your boo-boos can be found in the aisle 222s. Guys, I don't know if I'm strong enough. Alright, I'm gonna read one more chapter because it's fairly short. It's only 5 pages long. And then we're gonna call it a day. But I'm gonna tell you this, the way this begins, she is still in the pouch. We are not at Modelland yet. Alright. Oh, look at all, we believe in you. You're strong. Aw, thank you. Your support gets me through this trying time. Alright, chapter 11. Shiraz. This is yet another place they are stopping. Chapter 12 also begins with the pouch. Chapter 13 also begins with a pouch. Oh my god. Okay, it appears chapter 13 things are kind of happening. Alright, so... Chapter 13, I believe, is when we start getting into possibly Modelland in the book. Modelland.
The pouch swept through the green portal again. After a few minutes, a vanilla-scented breeze tickled Tuki's nose. In seconds, the pouch began to fill with thick white goo.
What in the heck is happening?
Dylan yelled. Tuki tried to move, but the goo had already reached her waist. It rapidly filled the pouch. Oh no, you're getting covered in white goo? No! I have another super chat. I'm not disgusted by you. I'm just still disgusted at the white goo. Mikey Walsh says, final page of the book. And then they arrived at Modelland. The end. Oh man, if they fucking... And this should be like, continued in book 2. It would... Coming never. Okay, so... let's describe the imagery here. Okay, so they arrive with their weird ass little model pouch and they have arrived in this land that's vanilla scented, and the pouch is filling with a thick white goo. This is her description. Why did it have to be white? You know what imagery is coming to our minds. Tyra Banks, what you doing?
What the heck is happening?
Dylan yelled. Tuki tried to move, but the goo had already reached her waist. It rapidly filled the pouch, soon submerging even their heads. Oh man, don't swallow! But weirdly, Tuki could breathe it in. Tuki could breathe in it as easily as a fish could breathe in water. The warm goo grew thicker and thicker until it was difficult for her to move. Then she and Dylan were frozen in place. Crack! Suddenly, the goo released them. Tuki and Dylan tumbled, turned around, and saw a 7-foot candle busted open down the middle. The veiled scout was still in front of them, flapping away now in a waxy, diamond-covered bodysuit. Why does it they keep having to change outfits for the different interests? These, like, scouts just have to be extra about everything? This is all the... See, now that she's in a candle, this is like all of the forms of the ghosts that visit Ebenezer Scrooge. That's how it goes, right? You got the fabric golden naked ghost. You have the rubber conveyor belt ghost, and then you have the white semen candle ghost. Dylan wiped some remaining goo from her eyes. You could just say it's wax. Why do you have to describe it this way?
Hey, scout lady, did we for real just pop out of a candle?
But the scout didn't answer.
Did we for real just pop out of a candle? Did I light that candle?
This is all just nonsense. It's all just nonsense. Excuse me. I drank my soda, but I got water. The sky above was an inky black. The lights of a village glowed far below. Candles in all shapes and sizes lit the entire town. Every house had an immense candle where the chimney should have been, and thin candles illuminated every street.
Oh, I guess there's a theme here, huh?
A stiff breeze blew, and all the lights flickered in a surge. Some blew out, but relit just seconds later.
Ooh, look over there!
Dylan pointed past a hill to an area much brighter than the rest of the dimly lit town.
It looks like a fire's blazing.
The waxy smell in the air got stronger, as if someone had pushed a candle to Tuki's nostrils. Close to Tuki's nostrils. Suddenly, Tuki knew exactly where they were. Can del Abra. Guys, I don't. This is worse than Kremlingrad. Oh! I don't know what to do, guys. Can I even finish this chapter? This chapter's not that long, but I don't know if I'm strong enough for this today.
super chat. I'm gonna read the super chat. It's from Mobius. Gonna light that candle. Thanks, Mobius. Candelabra. Candelabra, she murmured in a tiny voice. She'd read about it in a book once. Candelabra was the world's candle manufacturing center, the source of waxy light for all. For real, for real? Dylan looked excited. We sell candelabra candles in aisles 385 to 401. Sometimes I trek on over there during my break and inhale the fudge-scented ones. Sometimes I trek on over there during my break and inhale the fudge-scented ones. Don't you just love fudge? There's another super chat, a couple now. One from Elizabeth M. We're here for you. Supportive emoji. Thank you. Another from Mobius. We believe in you. And I think that's a little like, yeah, like hands in the air guy. Thank you. Don't you just love fudge? Tuki grimaced. Chocolate was practically the only food she didn't like. Dylan's eyes goggled. Girl, you don't like chocolate? You must be crazy. The scout soared through the town's crooked cobblestone streets. A makeshift market of tents and tables sold fire starter kits and fire insurance. Down a narrow alley, a man scurried along, pushing a cart filled with the scrunched stubs of burnt-out candles. A tall, olive-skinned teenager with nervous eyes gushed alongside him. Alright. There's a lot of nonsense words in this that are unpronounceable. This is apparently the made-up candle language. I literally cannot say this. This is how this whole thing's written. I did. How is this gonna be in the movie, huh? How is this gonna... they're gonna make up their little Klingon language? Klingon candle language? Here's how I'm gonna pronounce this. She urged. Tookie sat up straighter. They were speaking Labrian, the official language of Candelabra. Fuck off. Yeah, Wookiee sounds. I don't know if I can. That's not a Wookiee. I can't do the Wookiee noises. They were speaking Labrian, the official language of Candelabra, which she understood perfectly. Oh, I forgot. Fucking Tuki's like a genius who speaks like 1,000,000 languages or something. So Wookiee pooping? Yeah, I guess. That's fair. The girl had just told the man, Daddy, I'm so nervous. The day of Discovery walk-off is about to start and my dress has still not arrived. A petite, muscular girl with thick, curly hair, a face covered with freckles, and full lips ran toward the man and his daughter. She carried bundles and packages under her arms and wore a loose beige top that gaped at the neck, gathered shorts that flapped with her movements, and gladiator sandals whose straps looked on the verge of becoming undone. In Labrian, the girl sang, Your frock needed seam, I'm sorry I'm tardy, you're a Labrian dream, the belle of this party. Why does it rhyme in English if she's speaking Labrian? It wouldn't rhyme. It would rhyme in its own language, in their own language, right? Her own little Oompa Loompa song. Your frock needed steam.
I'm sorry, I'm tardy, you're a Labrian dream, the belle of this party. Wait, I can do this better. Your frock needed seam, I'm sorry, I'm tardy, you're a Labrian dream, the belle of this party. There we go. kind of in tune. After she finished the song, the messenger girl dropped the dress into the arms of the teen girl, who looked extremely relieved. Thank you, Shiraz, the daughter said to the messenger girl, handing her a coin. Then she took off again. Darting in and out of the streets clogged with Day of Discovery aspirants, the girl approached a decrepit door and slipped an envelope underneath. Then she was off once more, stuffing envelopes under every door she passed. Her footsteps pattered rapidly against the stone streets. Man, oh man, that chick is quick, Dylan murmured. The scout swooped down and positioned herself right in Shiraz's path. They collided head-on. Undelivered mail fluttered out of Shiraz's fingers, but she hardly looked phased to see the scout. Oh man, I gotta. She's gonna be the one. All right, what voice should I give Shiraz? Of course. I'm trying to get like the Labrian language kind of in there. Of course. Shiraz spoke in Labrian, confidently extending her hand to the scout. You have come for me! But the scout didn't react. The girl tried again. You're here for me, Ines? The scout remained motionless. Ah, the language barrier! This is probably fun to see, right? Shiraz said in a heavily accented English. I try to speak in the English. I am Shiraz. 7 inches and 4 feet tall. Perfect for studies in Modelland, yes? Oh my god, this is so hard to do. I'm really, legalize it. Yeah, I'm regretting choosing this voice. Shiraz shook out her hair, straightened her clothes, and stood as tall as her small frame allowed. The scout extended her hand, and Shiraz grabbed it with lightning speed. Hello to the Modelland and goodbye to the candelabra, she sang, her voice rising and falling melodiously. The pouch bulged and Shiraz tumbled inside and, snap, into the green hole once more. Into the green hole with her baby gherkin fingers. Into the green hole and the right goo in the green hole. I'd like to shove somebody up a green hole. Shiraz noticed Tukey and Dylan and widened her eyes. Oh no! Do not say you are my others! Your others? Dylan repeated. The other girls in the lower part of the Modelland. Shiraz waved her hands around, searching for the proper word. Experience? Said Dylan. Shiraz shook her head briskly. Excursion? Tukey said shyly. Shiraz shook her head again. Discovery? Asked Dylan. It's like it's Mitch going into Cody, kinda. Discovery, yes! Shiraz brightened. Then she frowned. But you two, you're not the beauty and exceptional like Shiraz. Oh, she's all full of herself. Dylan pursed her lips. Excuse me. You may be all cute and little and you can run as fast as an exotic feline in the plains, but hold up a sec, Miss Thang, 'cause Miss Modelland, or should I say the Modelland, Dylan mocked Shiraz, don't have girls looking like you up in there either. And besides, you weren't even trying out, honey. Me and her saw you. Shiraz sniffed huffily. The jealousies in your big body are burning like big dripless candle. I blow you out now. She puckered her lips and blew in Dylan's face. I should have gone with like the Russian voice, or she's like Zoya the Destroyer, you know? Dylan's nostrils flared. Oh no, this old dot-faced thing did not just Stop, Tukey blurted out, surprising even herself. Don't you realize none of us look like Modelland girls? Not one of us. Dylan set her jaw, but Shiraz just peered at Tukey, confused. Tukey repeated the tirade in Labrian. Please don't fight, she added. I see enough fighting at home. Shiraz smiled slowly at Tukey, clearly amazed that Tukey could speak her language. Does she have to learn... Does she have to learn, like, candle language for school, or just as a hobby, or... But then she sat up straighter. Well, they pick us for some reason. Yeah, Dylan said toughly, and although when she looked down at her broad thighs an uncertain expression washed over her face, she looked up at Tukey. Do you got a theory? Tukey stared through the pouch at the electric lightning snapping around them in the tunnel. I don't know, she said. I just don't know at all. Oh, that's the end of that chapter. Well, Oh, the next chapter is yet another. Y'all, this is tough. How y'all doing? You like Candleland? Still ain't at Modelland yet. I got another super chat from Otto Willem. Thank you. I don't see a message there. If you have one, please put that under there soon, because I'm gonna be heading out. This is all that I. We ended on page 126, so we read like a little over that, like probably 29 pages today. Yeah. Can you survive Candleland? Candelabra. Yeah, someone reading in the Labrian language. It just sounds too close to labia, doesn't it? In the white goo land, I really feel like a lot of this ain't thought out. Alright. I just wanted to... You know what? We're all in such a bad mood. And then... Modelland comes along. I think I'm gonna call this an evening today, guys. Okay, one more. There's another super chat. The Trashed Picture Show. Which is your favorite classic stop motion movie? I have no idea. Favorite stop motion movie? I don't know if I have one. I've never really thought about it. I can't really name that many of them, to be honest. But thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna call this an evening. I'll do another one tomorrow. I'll do another one. Same time. 3 p.m. CST Central Time. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evenings. We'll eventually get to Modelland. Oh, and another super chat from Melinda Walters. What was the point of the smize? I don't know. If anyone could go and walk, I don't know. Okay, guys, I'm gonna head out. I'll see you around.